Tava stepped back, her voice low and tight. They knew. They always knew. And we, our species, we were never just late to the galactic table. We were deliberately kept out. I turned away from the console and looked back through the shattered corridors, the dead soldiers, the torn steel. Someone, somewhere, had decided we were dangerous enough to be locked away and erased. And someone else had gotten out. A species classified as a myth. Category red. Us. Let me know when you're ready for Section 2, or if you'd like an image prompt, thumbnail text, or title ideas tailored for this section. Here is Section 2 of your story. A new species was classified, category red. It was us Word count \1600. POV character, Dr. Elian Marek third person limited. Tone, tense, analytical, morally conflicted. Dr. Elian Marek sat motionless in the rotating seat of the observation cradle, watching the slow pulse of the derelict ship's datastream unfurl before him. In all his years studying sentient evolution and adaptive violence, he had never seen a record so redacted, so deliberately incomplete. The files weren't corrupted by time or war, they had been carefully, surgically erased. The implications settled on him like gravity. Someone didn't just want to hide what had happened. They wanted to forget who it happened to. A low chime echoed in the lab behind him. Another flagged anomaly. He barely turned. Show it, he murmured. The screen blinked. Audio transcript. Alien source. Filtered translation. Subject continues to adapt beyond predicted tolerances. Mental fortitude abnormal. No consensus on psychological motivators. Hostile engagement results in immediate escalation. No surrender protocols detected. Resilience in trauma response exceeds known baselines. Potentially terminal threat. The alien speech pattern was clinical, even as it described what amounted to a walking extinction event. The subject, though unnamed, was undoubtedly the same human that Captain Vance's team had uncovered. The same being that had escaped a reinforced alien prison and left a dozen elite security units dead in its wake. He leaned forward, his fingers steepled against his lips. Category red, he whispered, not in awe, but in bitter recognition. The words rang like a judgment. He had written about that designation once, back when he still believed the Coalition valued the truth. His early papers had argued for the possibility that humanity's isolation wasn't a bureaucratic oversight, but a deliberate containment protocol. He'd theorized that Earth's developmental pathway, isolated, hostile, unpredictable, might have resulted in psychocognitive adaptations too erratic for the wider accord. A species that didn't follow the known trajectories of diplomatic evolution. A species that fought through problems rather than solved them. They'd called his work subversive. His grants had dried up. His security clearance was quietly clipped, and his position reassigned to men who used the word compliance more often than truth. And yet here it was. Proof. Raw, dripping, undeniable. Not only had humanity once reached the stars, it had terrified those who found it. He pulled up the next log. A visual feed. Static resolved into the image of an alien tribunal, 7 species seated in a spiral chamber of black stone and light. The center platform was empty, but the tone of the conversation needed no translation. Fear made every voice sharp. The lead speaker, tall and translucent-skinned, spoke with solemn finality. Containment has failed. Project Silence must be enforced to full galactic perimeter. Human vector is unchartable. Repeat, do not engage. Terminate on sight. The feed ended. He stood, slowly. His limbs felt heavier than they should. The walls of the research vessel, the San asterisk, seemed narrower than they had an hour ago. He walked out of the lab and into the darkened corridor, the air recycled but still carrying a faint edge of sterilizing chemicals. No one had said it aloud yet, but the whispers were spreading through the Coalition's inner circle. The monster the galaxy feared had a human face. A technician passed him without eye contact. That was how it began. Isolation. The belief that knowledge was contagion. He made his way to the secure debrief chamber where Admiral Cora Vallin waited. Her uniform was crisp, the kind worn by people who made decisions others had to die for. She gestured to a seat across from her without speaking. "He's Saturday. Dr. Marek," she said, "you've reviewed the logs from the Valrex?" He nodded. "And the research node logs. Cross-referenced species markers. Confirmed the genome." Her expression didn't change. "You're certain?" 100%. The subject was human. No mutations, no cybernetics, no engineered traits. A baseline Homo sapiens. The Admiral exhaled softly. "And this is the same species we've been observing under Project Bastion." That's the name the Accord used. "But yes. Earth. Sol 3. Us." Silence passed between them like a storm cloud. "The Council," she said finally, "believes this event changes the trajectory of coalition security. If humans represent a Category Red threat, then the entire foundation of the Accord collapses," he interrupted. "Every claim to moral authority, to regulated diplomacy, to interstellar peace. All of it was built on a lie." Her jaw tightened. "We're not debating philosophy, Doctor. We're discussing an existential threat." "So was Earth," he replied coldly. "When you buried it." Admiral Valin said nothing. Behind her, the large view screen lit up with data feeds from Vance's team. Still deep inside the derelict, still unresponsive since their last transmission. Comms interference, supposedly. Or something worse. She turned to him again. "Your assignment is now formal. You'll join Captain Vance on the surface of the quarantine world. Extract all remaining data from the wreckage. Interview the surviving crew. Then return for decontamination. I assume this isn't a rescue mission." She didn't blink. "Vance knows too much." He stood. "So do I. You're useful. Until I'm not." She smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "Precisely." He left the chamber with a weight pressing behind his ribs. Not fear. Something heavier. Something like the knowledge that he had already stepped across a line and now couldn't go back. The shuttle dropped him 2 hours later onto the moonside ridge above the derelict. The structure loomed in the distance, casting jagged shadows across the rock. The entry breach from Vance's team was still open. No lights. No movement. Just a yawning blackness where something ancient had escaped. He activated his helmet comm. "Captain Vance, this is Dr. Elian Marek. Respond." Static. Then, faint breathing. A voice, low and sharp-edged. "Marek. You picked a hell of a time." Relief and alarm warred in his chest. "What's your status?" "We're alive. Mostly. The ship's shielding is scrambling half our systems. You need to see what we found. Bring a light. And a spine." He descended, boots scraping against the scorched alloy of the hull breach. Inside, it was colder than it should have been. His visor auto-adjusted, highlighting corridors that looked like they'd been melted and regrown simultaneously. The entire structure seemed alive. Or recently dead. He found them near the central core, Vance, Tava, Nils, and the remains of Darren's gear, though not Darren himself. "They took him," Vance said, eyes hollow. "Not sure what they is. But it wasn't quiet." Marek looked past him to the exposed data column they had uncovered. A series of crystalline nodes, each pulsing faintly. They glowed as he approached, triggered by his human DNA. The ship recognized him. He placed his hand on the nearest node. Light exploded across the chamber. Visions. Memories. Screams. Alien voices crying out, not in rage, but worship. Asterisk the humans have returned at asterisk asterisk they walk among us again that asterisk asterisk pray the silence holds that asterisk. The node played back a transmission. Not from this ship, but from an outpost buried on a jungle world. Contact with subject variant 6 has ended in total failure. The subject dismantled containment teams in under 7 minutes. Half the facility is now non-functional. We are observing behavior consistent with early Earth war patterns. Total aggression, no retreat. Burn everything. The feed cut out with the echo of a scream. Marek withdrew his hand. His own scream died in his throat. "They weren't trying to kill us," he whispered. "They were trying to hide us." From everyone else. From themselves. Vance crouched beside him, one hand resting on a cracked bulkhead. Then they failed. And now? The captain stood. In the low light, his silhouette looked more like a weapon than a man. Now we make them remember why they were afraid. Let me know when you're ready for section 3 **, or if you want to develop a specific subplot or relationship in the next phase. Here is section 3 ** of your story. **, a new species was classified, category red. It was us **. Word count \1600. POV character, Sergeant Malik Aran **, third person limited. Tone, action-driven, tense, emotionally grounded in a soldier's perspective. Sergeant Malik Aran had been in a dozen hot zones, watched 6 war fronts crumble from the inside, and stared down enough alien artillery to lose count of the scars. But none of that prepared him for the look in Captain Vance's eyes when the order came down. Evac was cancelled. The Brimstone had gone dark 2 hours prior. No transmissions, no pings, no emergency fallback pulses. Just gone. Vanished from orbit without trace or warning. All satellite pings bounced back empty. Even the emergency beacon Marek had stashed in his gear came back void. No uplink. No retrieval. Someone had cut the cord. Malik stood on the ridge, the alien sky casting an oily shimmer across his visor. Below, the derelict ship lay in its slumped orbit dig, like a fossil half exhumed. He could feel it under his boots, the way the structure breathed through the ground, deep and unnatural. It didn't feel like tech. It felt like it hated being dead. Vance paced a short arc behind him, eyes scanning the horizon like he expected the moon itself to rise and fight them. Tava crouched over a munitions crate, cleaning the barrel of her repeater with the kind of patience only soldiers on borrowed time could summon. Marek sat off to the side, transfixed by a projection of the last logs they'd recovered. The alien faces shimmered across the screen in shades of horror and awe. Whatever did this, Marek said quietly, wasn't acting randomly. These weren't berserker attacks. They were coordinated. Surgical. Vance stopped pacing. You think this wasn't an escape? I think it was a message. Malik tilted his head toward the scientist. To who? Marek tapped the screen. To us. To them. Maybe both. Maybe it wasn't trying to get out. Maybe it was trying to be *found star. He didn't like that. Not one bit. Anything smart enough to break through multi-species security networks, claw through alloy, and leave behind coordinated carnage didn't need an audience. It needed a reason. Movement flickered on his visor. High altitude. Reentry trail. He dropped to one knee and switched scopes. 1 streak. Then 2. Then 5. No coalition tags. No familiar thrust patterns. Their silhouette was sleeker, bone-white and crescent-winged. Marek's AI flagged them a second later. Accord interceptors. Tava, he said, voice flat, you might want to load live rounds. She didn't ask questions. She slapped the magazine in without blinking. Vance stepped beside Malik. How long? 3 minutes to touchdown. They're not here to talk. No, the captain replied. They're here to erase the evidence. Marek rose, breath catching. They think we're part of it. Vance shook his head. No. They know what we are. The drop ships didn't bother with subtlety. They broke the sound barrier before deployment, sending twin shockwaves across the plateau. Dirt and debris kicked up like smoke. 5 ships. 12 units each. Full deployment pattern. It was a military purge, not a negotiation. Malik switched to wideband comms. This is Sergeant Malik Aran of Recon Team 4. We are coalition flagged. Friendly. Do not engage. I repeat, do not. The first round struck 10 meters from his position. Plasma burst against the rock face, vaporizing a boulder. The transmission jammed out the moment he hit send. No reply. Just the whine of stabilizer boots and the soft, chilling clicks of synchronized rifles arming below. Contact, he said simply. Vance raised his rifle. No mercy. The ridge erupted in return fire. Tava opened first, her repeater barking like thunder, tearing through 3 advancing forms before they even reached cover. Malik flanked left, pinning the far edge with tight bursts. His rounds chewed through alien composite armor. Not enough to kill. Enough to slow. He didn't shoot to wound. He shot to erase. The Accord troops moved in tight diamond formations, their tactics precise, brutal, familiar. It was like fighting a mirror image, except the reflection lacked soul. Malik dropped 2 more. A third fell when Vance leapt into their ranks with a salvaged glaive, splitting a helmet from skull in one clean arc. Marek scrambled behind the cover of a fractured boulder, feeding coordinates and tracking uplinks into his pad, trying to record every movement. His voice trembled through comms. "They're not trying to disable us. They're targeting human heat signatures only." "Of course they are," Malik snapped between rounds. "They don't want the asterisk subject star. They want the asterisk species star." The Accord line faltered at 40% casualties. For a moment, Malik thought they might fall back. Instead, a new ship screamed through the sky, sleeker, narrower. Different. This one landed softly. Purposefully. From its hull descended a figure clad in polished armor too elaborate for a field officer. The soldiers around him shifted position instantly. A handler. The figure removed his helmet with ceremonial precision, revealing a face that looked sculpted more than born. Silver veins ran across cheekbones. His voice carried without amplification. "Cease fire. Now." The Accord line held. Vance stood at the edge of the battlefield, blood streaking his visor. "Name and rank," he called out. The figure tilted his head. "I am Overseer Relvan. Accord Enforcement. Under Directive Red Echo, this world and all data recovered are classified under emergency erasure. You are in breach of containment protocol." Vance didn't lower his weapon. "We found your files. Your research. Your lies." Relvan stepped forward. "You found your truth. That does not mean it belongs to you." Malik's grip on his rifle tightened. He had seen arrogance before. This wasn't that. It was fear behind practiced control. The Overseer wasn't angry. He was terrified of what had just happened, and what it meant. Marek climbed to his feet beside the captain. "You knew," he said. "You knew we were out here. You watched us crawl from the dirt. And when we didn't destroy ourselves, you made sure no one else ever found us." Relvan nodded once. "The Accord remembers history. Yours was written in blood." Vance's voice was steel. "You built this prison. Then you made us the myth." "You earned the myth," Relvan said. Silence followed. Then Vance smiled. "We still have your ship logs. The recordings. The genomes. We're not the only ones who'll see them." "No one will see them," the Overseer replied. He raised his hand. That was the moment the sky cracked. A second explosion split the horizon. Not from an Accord ship, but from above. A long, burning trail of fire and debris spiraled downward as a coalition cruiser broke from faster-than-light jump space directly into low orbit. It didn't signal a greeting. It signaled a bombardment. The asterisk brimstone asterisk wasn't dead. It had been waiting. Orbital rounds struck 2 Accord ships before they could break formation. Fire tore across the plateau. The soldiers scattered. Malik didn't wait. He surged forward, gun in hand, clearing a path through staggered troops. Tava was already ahead, carving through the flank like fire through frost. Vance moved with the precision of someone who knew this fight would be remembered. Not for victory. For asterisk message star. Relvan retreated behind shielding drones, shouting orders no one could hear. His soldiers fell around him like broken machinery. Malik dropped his last clip into the chamber. The Accord might not believe in the species they tried to silence, but they would remember the sound of human defiance. The battle turned. Not by numbers. By refusal. They had come to bury the truth. Instead, they bled trying to stop it from breathing. Minutes later, silence fell. Smoke rose in dark ribbons. Wounded groaned beneath debris. Accord survivors retreated beyond the ridge, signals fading as jump drives flared and blinked out of the sky. They hadn't expected a fight. Not like this. Malik stood amidst the wreckage, chest heaving, the smell of scorched alloy thick in the air. He looked toward Vance, who held a scorched data drive in one hand and Marek's cracked tablet in the other. Marek limped toward them, dust clinging to his coat, face pale. "You think they'll come back?" he asked. Vance nodded. "Sooner than we want. Later than they should." Malik turned to the horizon. The stars no longer looked silent. "We just declared war, didn't we?" he asked. "No," Vance replied, slipping the drive into a case and sealing it shut. "We just reminded the galaxy we're still here. Let me know when you're ready for section 4 **, or if you'd like a high-impact image prompt, tagline, or teaser for this section. Here is section 4 ** of your sci-fi HFY story. **, a new species was classified, category red. It was us **. Word count \1500. POV alternates between **, Captain Rourke Vance **, first person, and **, Dr. Elian Marek **, third person limited. Tone, climactic, darkly triumphant, philosophically resonant. I'd never seen a world burn in silence before. No alarms, no screams, no emergency transmissions clawing for help across the stars. Just the quiet flicker of orbital defenses dissolving in thermonuclear white, and the way the clouds curled away from the heat like they were afraid to watch. We were supposed to extract quietly. Instead, we broke into the Accord's seat of power and turned their sky into an epitaph. And I didn't feel anything close to regret. I watched the feed from the strike cruiser's command deck, arms folded, helmet tucked under one arm. The Accord's high spire, their judicial and cultural epicenter, collapsed in on itself like wet bone. Their message towers buckled. The capital fell without a single shot fired from its ground units. The soldiers hadn't surrendered. They'd just run. They knew what was coming. They remembered. Marek stood to my left, eyes red from too little sleep and too much knowledge. He hadn't spoken since we left the moonside wreck. Not since the last data file played, one buried beneath layers of encryption. Not a warning. A confession. The Accord didn't discover us. They made us. Not in the literal sense. They didn't birth us from vats or splice us from animals. But they had interfered with Earth's early evolution. Genetic nudges. Behavioral prods. Stimulus response experiments using whole wars as petri dishes. They tried to create a species capable of pure resistance, independent thought bound to emotional resilience. They called it Project Redline. And when it worked too well, they buried it. They sterilized the records. Quarantined Earth. Isolated it from galactic drift. Let time and ruin erase their fingerprints. Humanity was left to fend for itself with no knowledge of what it was really meant to become. Until one subject, one human, escaped. And everything unraveled. Marek finally turned toward me. His voice was quiet, almost reverent. "You understand what this means, don't you?" I nodded. They didn't fear what we did star. They feared what we are star. He looked back toward the flames climbing the ruined spires. And now they are too late to stop it. We touched down 2 clicks from the Accord's central broadcasting array. The last working tower on the planet. Our entrance wasn't subtle. Sergeant Aran detonated the north gate with enough charge to rattle every sensor in orbit. Tava led point, her rifle steady, moving like death on glass. The Accord guards barely slowed us. Most were too green or too broken to put up a fight. A few tried. They didn't try long. I took the final stairwell myself, 2 rounds left in my rifle and the data drive burning cold against my chest. The command terminal loomed ahead, a throne of glass and code, hovering in a field of kinetic stasis. The control hub's AI flickered to life as I approached. Its voice was feminine, melodic, and tinged with fear. Unauthorized access. Accord authorization required. Override, I said. Command code, Vance-Rourke 79. Coalition Black Directive. The stasis field dropped. Behind me, Marek stepped forward, carefully unsealing the drive. He handed it to me without a word. The data inside was everything. The ship logs, the genome sequences, the Accord's admissions, the evidence of Earth's manipulation. But more than that, it held the story of what we had done since. The wars we survived. The alliances we forged. The decisions we made with no instruction, no oversight. The art. The science. The violence. The compassion. We weren't monsters. We were proof that they had failed to predict the human heart. I slotted the drive into the core. The AI hesitated. This data violates Accord's secrecy protocols. Dissemination will result in widespread destabilization. That's the idea, Marek said softly. The transmission engaged. Across the galaxy, Accord networks began to shudder and flicker. Civilian worlds. Research archives. Military outposts. Every screen lit up with the same words. Asterisk asterisk classified species released, category red asterisk asterisk. Then came the images. Not of slaughter. Not of war. But of survival. Humans pulling each other from fire. Building cities from wreckage. Holding funerals. Singing in trenches. Laughing under shattered moons. Mothers carrying wounded sons. Soldiers refusing to fire. Refugees sharing water. Then, finally, one silent shot. The last survivor of the Accord's research facility curled in a cell, shaking in terror, as a human stepped into frame, not to kill, but to kneel. Offer a hand. Offer mercy. The broadcast cut back to me. My face. I didn't wear my helmet. I wanted them to see the eyes. You feared us, I said. You locked our world away. You wrote myths about the red species. You warned your children about the monsters in the dark. But the truth is simpler. You didn't create monsters. You created survivors. And we remembered who we were. You cannot contain what you refuse to understand. I stepped back from the terminal. The message repeated. Across hundreds of worlds. Across thousands of systems. There was no taking it back. Marek joined me as the sky began to pulse. Accord fleets were falling back. Others had gone dark. But something stranger was happening now. Some weren't running. Some were transmitting back. Not in anger. Not in threat. In acknowledgement. He looked up. They're not sure what to do now. Good, I said. Let them think. Tava's voice cut in over comms. Incoming feed from a neutral relay. Open channel. I nodded. The screen lit up with a single face, feline features, silver-striped fur. A diplomat of the Mycara Accord 8. Neutral species. Observers. Her voice was calm. Captain Vance. Dr. Marek. The broadcast reached us. We are reconsidering many things. We're not here to ask for trust, I said. No, she replied. But you've earned attention. And attention, in this galaxy, is power. She paused, then added, your species has been reclassified. Not as a threat. As a dominant. The screen blinked out. Marek sat on the edge of the platform, eyes glazed. He didn't speak for a long time. You think it's enough? He finally asked. One broadcast? One speech? No, I said. But it's a start. Behind us, the night sky flared with the arrival of more ships. Not Accord. Not Coalition. Unknown. Curious. Listening. We stood there, 3 humans on a ruined world once ruled by the architects of silence, now pulsing with noise. They thought they buried us. They forgot one thing. You bury the dead. Not the dangerous. And we were never dead. Only waiting. Let me know if you'd like the complete polished version assembled into a single story file, or if you'd like thumbnails, image prompts, or a YouTube narration script built from this.